Welcome back, Summoners, to the third season of the University Alliance Cup featuring Wild Rift. This is now the semifinals. We finished the two quarters matches earlier, and now we're going to get into Valiant Esports from Holy Angel University versus West Visayas State University Leviathans. And we'll be your shoutcasters. I'm Hyron. With me is Yuko. Si Giang Gaming, medyo nag-break muna siya ngayon para bigyan ng attention yung pusa niya. For now, it's
Right?
going to be Yuko and me. How's it been? It's been a while in
Yeah,
UAC
dude.
this season, no?
It's been a while, it's been a while. Ang plano ko talagang dapat I would get as much cash as I can, kaso I was busy eating fries. So ngayon lang muna ako lumitaw sa ating tournament dito. But I'm so happy na I still got the cast for this season. And we are nearing the grand finals. After these two series, we're gonna be seeing sino pa talaga ang kakasa for our actual last day of the tournament. But yeah, nakita ko yung mga games kanina. It was so close. And
Tense.
ako yung
Oo.
nagko-comment na yung minsan mas intense pa yung laban sa comment section kaya sa actual game
Oo.
in-game.
Oo. Pero yeah, TUP against all odds, against expectations of
Yeah.
people, they made the hero play. They slew the veteran team of FIT Tech Mayhem. Kasi si Senyor, sina Orphic, kilalang kilala na yan, lalo na sa collegiate esports dito, especially in around, ano bang tawag sa area? Around that Murayta, Espanya area. Siyempre, kilala na yung mga yan, di ba? So, they're very good against my expectations. That I'm actually not disappointed. I'm actually not. I don't feel too bad about my predictions being
Right.
broken right there because of how good the games were. And now we're gonna get into Valiant Esports, the champions from the previous season of UAC, up against West Visayas State University, who started from the bottom. They started from Division B previous season. They made it. They clawed their way to the top of Division B, and now they're here in the semifinals of Season 3. So very proud of this roster.
Mhm. Basically, ito yung sa anime, na you are the protagonist, you're this new kid na napakaganda ng win streak, and then you're up against this very well-known boss, or parang not final boss, but a very powerful opponent. And let's see, will they be able to defend their spot, or at least their win streak, or will the new kids on the block be able to take them down? Because I've seen the run of Leviathans. It was so good. They just know how to work with their very own meta, and now I actually would love to see more team fights. Kasi yun nakikita kong trend eh. Our teams in this tournament, they love their fights.
Team fights heavy talaga. Either they go straight into the team fight or they thrive in counter engaging in the team fight now. So either way, it's the same kind of battlefield that these teams are playing in, and I'm super excited, no. So wala pang nakikitang Sena, may isang naban na Sena. So baka makita natin dito, pero hindi talaga style ni Telo tsaka ni Shino yung ano eh.
Yeah, I don't think
Yung
so.
Sena eh. Mukhang hindi makikita yung bias ni Giyang Gaming. Pero ako, nag-aano ng Alistar. Itong si Ed tsaka si Kome, they both play the Alistar. So I'm expecting at least one Alistar game, please.
Hopefully. I would like to say na we don't see much Alistar up until na lumabas yung global tournament, which was the Horizon Cup, and grabe yung zoning power na isang Alistar aside from the head, but he's just this tanky na bodyguard, tapos meron pa siyang yung pulverize, and he can also just chain you down, plus yung passive niya that just gives heal at kayang front roar. It has very good sustain for the early game, and minsan pag may fight nasa gitna lang siya, pop the passive and you get to live another day. Maybe if you have a mid lane, let's say Ziggs or kahit Ari, na poke, heavily dependent on his or her poke, your team will definitely have a good time.
Yeah, but going into the draft here, WVSU Leviathans, let's see, because they can switch out their draft, right? One of the stars here for, I mean, every single member of How Valiant Esports is very experienced, from Cool, Haru, Kelv, Shino, Kome. Isa pa yan sa mga veterano dito sa collegiate esports natin, and even before. So here, with How Valiant Esports comp, they have a very solid laners. I think WVSU's strength comes in their adaptability, in the
Yes.
sense na minsan si Joyo nasa top side, magre-renekton siya. Minsan si Miracle yung
Mm-hmm.
nandun sa Baron lane. Tas si Mac naman yung magja-jungle. Minsan si Joe magda-dragon lane, magyayaso siya kasama yung Alistar ni Ed. Yun talaga. I think that's their strength here, and I think that's their trump card against the powerful How Valiant Esports roster. You have to blindside an experienced team like this in order to win.
Role swaps definitely will come when they least expect it. So Twisted Fate, however, most likely will be banned. Camille, Ziggs, Riven at some point, I think those will be usual bans, and that season.
Yeah, Lee Sin banned, which does beg the question, right? TF banned. Does that mean that How Valiant Esports, okay, with the Canon being banned as well, I think how Valiant Esports might be trying to make a play here to force how to lock in a ban against the Galio here, or if they threaten, okay, are you gonna ban the Galio? We might pick it up for ourselves. Even though they haven't really used the Galio that much,
Huh.
they might go for actually for just priority on like Irelia, Fiora, carries for cool here, or make sure that Kome's Dragon Lane is very very safe.
Looking, oh, there's Celeban, alright. So late game, the range, the damage, as well as yung kanyang rocket jump that can just make her safe in tight situations. Meron pang Wukong dito. They really want to deny the Cyclone and Wukong with the initiate. We're
Super
definitely
super good.
not giving that opening for a possible Yasuo pick. Fiora ang last ban for our first rotation. Riven is open, Camille is open,
There
Ziggs
we
is
go.
also open. So mukhang Riven ang unahin dito for the side of Valiant Esports.
Mhm. And once again, it's a feast or famine champion here. And I think Hao's very confident that either Cool or Haru, and I think most likely he's going to go to Cool, is able to bring that out. Of course, immediate response here with the Irelia not being picked up. Hindi yata style yun dito ni Miracle. Gonna go for the Camille instead. And the Galio getting picked up
Yeah.
here since a very strong 1-2 punch dito. Yun yung kapangyarihan, yun yung lakas ng red side. Is on the first rotation, you get a very good pivot you get a very good 1-2 punch of power picks in response to the priority pick of the blue side here. And I think Camille Regalio, I'd be happy. I'd be happier to get that than first pick Riven for sure.
Exactly. Of course, what's better than one power pick? That's two power picks, and nakuha yan side for the teams in our red side. Hover and lock in on Gragas, most probably gonna be a support unless ilalagay nila yan sa ating mid lane. And it's time to pick up a possible jungler or an ADC. I don't know.
Actually,
Yeah, they're gonna go with the
bef-
support. Oh,
pag
mid lane.
Gragas, hindi masyadong style ni Kome yun, 'di ba?
Mm-hmm.
Pero pwede rin kasi it fulfills the same purpose yung usually na ginagamit ni Kome like Rakan Alistar. The Gragas has a similar role to play. Similar yung trabaho niya
There
dito.
you go.
Pero yung Gragas, it's either Haru or Kelps. Kasi pwede yan gamitin ni Kelps AP Gragas,
Mm-hmm.
bobombahin niya dito in WVSU, or Haru with the Gragas, that can go either way. But Alistar picked up. I like this. They get the Camille combo. Camille goes in with Hex Ultimatum plus Hero's Entrance.
Yes.
Pwede rin sa Alistar bigyan. This is very,
Mm-hmm.
very nice. I like the all-in here from Leviathans.
Yeah, I see a lot of possible matchup, a lot of good follow-ups. Basta basically layer their CC right, or at least their skills right. I guess this will be a mid lane Galio. So second rotation bans, J4 will be banned out. Kasi imagine if there's a J4 jungle. Meron ka ng Hexic Ultimatum, meron ka pang Hero's Entrance, meron ka pang Cataclysm. So wala talagang galawan for their side.
Idadunk mo na lang yan.
Yes.
So, but here, last ban here. I'm actually interested about the Ziggs ban because it might just be an overall meta ban, right? But usually,
Yes.
HAU has not shown that they like the Ziggs too much. It's usually not even banned against them during a group stage, right? So that should tell us now HAU doesn't really go for that style. But I guess here Leviathans just decides, okay, we're gonna go for this kind of comp. Let's not get caught in like a mega Inferno bomb, right? Because if you go in with the Hero's Entrance with the Hexic Ultimatum, you're in a kind of a perfect spot to get bombed.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Nakita ko yung hover ng Vayne kanina. I smiled, but I was internally panicking. Kasi ang hirap, kasi imagine if you have a grand entrance, how are you gonna aim the condemn? I was so happy when I see the side lock in. It's a lot more comfortable, and this most likely
Jax.
will be a Jax jungle. So, you're
Or
right.
Olaf
This will
pwede
be
rin.
a Gragas na mid lane. But looks like they're gonna go rotate over to Olaf. They want a super beefy frontliner na kahit masisi, one button, Mr.
Oo.
Ragnarok is gonna go all in.
Actually, I like the Olaf pickup here compared to the Jax. Kasi yung Jax, ano ba gagawin ng Jax? Kahit mag-counter-strike, leap strike pa yan. Ibubuli lang siya ni Ed ng Alistar. Saka ibubuli rin siya ni Joe. So I think having an Olaf there can just say no. Tapos tatakbuhin niya lang yung Graves tsaka yung Ezreal is a very good pickup here. The Gragas, mukhang makikita ulit natin yung explosive
Ayan
na
na.
Gragas dito ni Kelvin. So
Uh,
that's a good pickup right there. But I like it. I like this comp from Leviathans. It has, of course, not just because it has Alistar, but it has a very nice combo in the Hexic Ultimatum plus Hero's Entrance, and it has, of course, the Alistar, and they have three big damage dealers.
duda ako. Feeling ko tuwa ka lang talaga kasi gusto mong makita si Alistar eh. Tapos, finally, Leviathans did pick it up. But ako naman, I actually like the lineup for Valiant Esports. You have Assurance for the late game, which is Riven tsaka si Olaf dito, you have a lot of openings.
Yeah.
Broken Wing combo, you have the Cask, you have the Feather Storm, pati meron ka ding Grand Entrance or the Quickness. I guess ang concern ko lang for the Blue Side's draft is it has a mid to late game power spike, whereas sa side ng Leviathans, early game pa lang, good to go na. They have poke, they have chase, they have ways to isolate yung mga kalaban nila dito.
So I'm really liking it from both teams. I think drafted very well. They have what's important with the team comp is not just the relative power level of the picks, but also more importantly the synergy. You need to have a clear game plan here for your team, and here for Shino and the gang of Valiant Esports, they pretty much they can go front to back, but usually they want Leviathans to be the ones going in. Para makapag feather storm sila, they can break the formation with explosive cast, maybe burst someone down, and then take the fight over from there. Meanwhile, yung WVSU Leviathans, pasok lang yan na pasok. Go lang ng go, ika nga.
Go lang na go. I did not expect to see a day na mayroon kita magsabi ng go lang ng go. You discover new things every day. I will remember this day. But yeah, I do agree. They will most likely be the teams that will first pull the trigger, and then yung kalaban nila yun na yung yun na yung in charge rather sa counter engage, or how are they gonna take that in the early game. Mukhang nag-high hello agad ang Leviathans dito. Muntik na, but hindi naging fried chicken si Komei.
Oh, muntik lang naman. And that's the operative term, di ba? Muntik lang.
Yes.
And even then, it should be relatively fine. Both junglers starting on the same side of the map, so we might see a lot of action. Kasi very contentious itong lane na to eh, na Camille versus Riven. Feast or famine yung Riven, meanwhile the Camille just wants to get ahead here so he can start maintaining tempo in this lane.
I also feel like once they reach the level 5s, may very slight advantage lang si Camille just because, well, she can use hook shot. Baka late dito kay Riven, but with the ultimate,
Linavi here. Maybe a little bit too far forward. I like the aggressiveness coming in from how they know, okay, this Galio is gonna be a big problem later. And it's not really a big priority to take down, but we just want Kelvin to get that kill, get the priority in this lane. Because here, with not Kelvin going for the, okay, bot lane muna, mukhang sasayaw lang. Okay, this is gonna be trading a little bit. But Kelvin wants to be able to get priority para mapag-roam siya, para mapag-dive sila gamit yung napaka-high damage na explosive cast inevitably dito ni Kelps.
And I actually like the early game for the side of the men in blue here. Mukhang magbibisita pa sa baba dito si Gragas just to make sure na mabox in nila ang Jacqueline duo. And here it goes.
Yeah, pero papasok din dito. Lots of damage coming in onto Komei from Tello. I think that's gonna end up stopping the fight we're in through. Tello regroups with his support. They do take over this side of the jungle, which means HAU has priority bot lane here. Mid, they gave up a little bit of priority, pero ma-catch lang naman agad ni Kelvin yung wave na yan. So, all in all, HAU, they're the ones that are poking at WVSU's defenses. Kasi hanggang hindi pa level 5 yung champions ng Leviathans, wala silang palag eh.
They're pretty much good. They're pretty much chill rather, and good to go pa rin ang side ng Valiant Esports. May tanong ako sa'yo, Hyron. Pag undertow si Olaf kay Alistar, what do you get?
Yeah. Zara yan. Corned beef ba yung makukuha natin dyan?
I was about to say something, Sal, but okay.
Pwede rin naman. Pwede rin
Close
naman.
enough. Come on, give it to me, man. Okay na yun.
Pwede na rin yun.
Yeah,
actually, miss na miss ko na
it's a
mag-sound
random joke. Yan. Okay, guys. So, sino po yung mananalo sa tournament na to? Please tweet Hyron.
Hashtag baka naman.
Yo! I love it. Baka naman. But yeah, jumping back into the game, random recalls for the side of the Dragon Lane side dito sa Leviathans. Of course, you would want to get that early damage, especially medyo mahirap if you're up against a Sai and Rakan. Aside from may power of love, yung dalawang yan. Wow, sana all. They have a lot of pokes and it has quite the range compared to a Ezreal tsaka Alistar na kailangan pa nilang lumapit. Pagka headbutt, may chance pa na baka mag-grand entrance ka. But 3 minutes in, looks like the slight 1k gold lead is in favor of Valiant Esports with that first blood, and yung small rotation kanina ng Gragas, they were able to balloon the goal lead that they had. Pero ngayon, si Gragas naman ang natatago si Get.
Yeah, just for now, now that it's level 5, HAU kind of needs to chill a little bit here. Level 5, sakto kay Komei, he does have his ulti, but the knockups coming in from the Alistar, good Feather Storm to stop that dive. But it does seem like the WVSU, they're not gonna overcommit. They just, okay, we burnt the Feather Storm. My advantage kami sa Drake dito. 10 seconds, 15 seconds coming in. They should have the priority going to this first Drake.
Yeah, even though may heal and may flash pa rin si Saya, the fact that wala nang other ways na yung parang instant route for their ADC. And she's very vulnerable kasi vulnerable dito ni Camille sa Baron lane. Oh no!
Very, very close there, actually. The iframes from the Hextech ultimatum could have gotten him the win there, but Cool was able to get the kill eventually. And here comes nice explosive cast there, not hitting too much, but that's gonna be the quickness getting those charms out. But Hello and Joe on the run now. Those are two big damage dealers for WVSU to the Vitals. Now Kelvin fronting for his team. Can go over with the body slam here, but Miracle, can he clutch it out for his team? No. Without the ulti, he's not gonna be able to assassinate HAU. And HAU will actually be the ones to take away this Drake.
I think it was a good cast kasi parang masyadong malayo yung inabot ni Komi doon. At least he was alive. So si dalawa yung na-connect, dalawa din yung na-knock up. There was a very good follow-up for Olaf and hindi din nalapagan or naabutan ng Hero's Entrance yung mga katapat nila. There were some taunts here and there. Camille jumped in. I was expecting another kill but again kakagamit ng Hextech ultimatum. At the very least, they're now 4-0 and they are looking to get a steal sa ating unang dragon.
No big ultimates, huh? Dito for how they're just going for the 3-man grand entrance into the kill onto Miracle. The rest of WVSU Leviathans, their formation is broken. Oh my god, that's 4 kills straight clean from HAU, and they can only take back not Kelvin plus another. That's gonna be the Drake going to HAU Valiant. It's 4K gold lead on their side, and this is actually a good position for HAU Valiant Esports.
It was body slam tapos mayroon pang grand entrance dito and you have Saya safe on the backlines. Ezreal did try to pick someone up, only got the Gragas but it was just really not enough. The Kelvin and Komei connection is kind of strong sa ating series na to.
Yeah, they're just that huge combo potential, right? Because Komei on this Rakan, especially later once he gets his items built up, it actually hurts a little bit. The base damage on the Grand Entrance is actually pretty painful. Combine that with Body Slam, that's a good setup for Cool to execute with the Wind Slash, right? So, how Valiant, they know their power spikes here. 7k gold ahead. Pinag-usapan namin ni Gigi, ni Gian kanina na 5k on some comps is not ahead. 5k is the bare minimum. But for this comp, this 7k or 6k gold lead is actually pretty substantial kasi hindi naman sila pressured to finish the game early. They can actually just ride this wave of momentum and keep Shino and Haru scaling, and eventually not Kelvin can assassinate maybe Joe or Telo later in the game.
Yep. And with that, when we talk about scaling, we talked about getting a lot of kills. They also already got the referral. Pero mukhang gusto pang lumaban dito ng ating Valentine.
Heroes Andro's gonna come in for the knockup, does get the stun and the taunt onto Haru right there, but in comes Cool, looking cool and hot for that kill. No Wind Slash for him just yet. Does not get greedy for the kill. He gets 2, does not want to give back 1 shutdown to WVSU, so just back off. There's no need to push any further. There's no objective to be taken.
I would like to commend Komei yet again. He delayed yung exit dito ni Galio kanina, which gave way for Cool to jump in, get that combo, and then get that double kill. Looking at the items ngayon, you have Roa available both for Galio, tsaka dito kay Gragas. They have the damage, meron na din Black Cleaver, si Cool as well as si Haru, and Triforce for Camille, but may gustong bumate kay Gragas, but he has...
Kelvin's just gonna be able to get up. There's
Yeah,
no
he's-
way that
he's
Joe
pretty
goes
okay.
there. Yeah, mag-isa lang siya eh. Pero twinning dito si Cool tsaka si Taro dito with the Death Lance and the Black Cleaver, right? So this is actually very painful. Like the stacking of that Cleaver will just let Shino deal even more damage. And they can go for that front to back. Definitely just go for the front to back there with the initiation that HAU Valiant Esports can have, but WVSU, they have to pivot into defensive play here with the Galio, with the Alistar. The Alistar has to, like, immediately, as soon as makita niya either si Kelvin o si Haru, they need to knock him away. Especially pag naka-ulti dito si Komei.
I was actually looking at the map. Hinihintay ko kung are they gonna try to catch Cool? And it's bad kasi Leviathans, this time around, they had no choice but to watch their turret say goodbye. That's it. They wanted to contest, but they will not be able to win the numbers game. So at best, they can try to go with the pokes. Kaso mukhang Valiant Esports pa rin ang nakapag-poke dito. There is a good try from Graves, but there will be no follow-up. And habang may pressure sa ating barrel lane side, umiikot na sa Geddy si Haru dito.
Yeah, Haru, his job bot lane was done. He just needs to shove mid lane now and cover the retreat of HAU Valiant Esports and reset, because the next Drake is gonna come up, and that's gonna be another chance for HAU. There is actually since they're 10k gold behind, I think WVSU just has to give this. If they fight, kasi they risk increasing the gold lead even further than HAU just getting the Drake. I think for now they have to focus on Telo and Joe getting the farm from the side lanes na hindi binibigyan ng atensyon ng HAU Valiant Esports. But here, it's going to be cool trying to go for the kill onto Telo. Miracle comes in, can go for the 3v1 here, pero napaka-cool. Gonna get Hextech Ultimatum here, but he can fight back against Miracle. Can he get the last kill? No, they commit everything to him. And that's a crucial shutdown. Sayang, hindi napunta kay Telo, kay Linavin napunta yung shutdown doon. But that's still a crucial kill there for WVSU. Can they finish the job here? Nice proto belt so that Kelps can get out. Very, very good explosive cast to split the party and allow the battle dance on Komi onto safety. But this is still conceding a tower and 1 kill onto WVSU. So that's what they need to slowly get back in this game.
2 ultimates for 1 kill, I think that's good. Pero baka na-solo kill din dito si Komi. But yeah, while they were pressuring Byron, space created for all of the mid. But oh no, they want to look for that kill.
Into the Blade Caller for the initiate. Shino! Assassin cosplay on this Zaya. And they're gonna be able to make good Samgyup here out of this Alistar. Plus the Rift Herald here. So ano siya? Ano tawag doon? Surf and turf. May beef ka na. May seafood ka pa sa Rift Herald natin dito. So, that's gonna be a big pivot. Once again, another big pivot here, or big pivot for the tempo here in favor of HAU Valiant Esports.
10 minutes, roughly 10k gold lead in favor of Valiant Esports. And you can see it in the itemizations, you can see it in the damage na kayang i-dish out dito. If possible, one of the ways Leviathans can push through at least win one skirmish is for Shino to pop the Feather Storm. It's okay if he has flash. Just dapat wala yung ultimate na yun, because that kind of route, that well-timed route, is exactly the reason why people want to make sure na hindi mapupunta kay Saya yung rather hindi mapunta sa kalaban yung pick na Saya on top of Irakan, on top of even this Riven. Just a lot of single target and AoE CC, and Valiant Esports, they just really know the ends of their lineup. But for Leviathans, maybe wait for Telo to actually snowball and hope for the best for Joe, pero maka no proto. But indeed ang isa, just to, surprise their opponents a bit. And while that was happening at the mid lane, Solari Charge Blade has been picked up by this Riven. 3k gold na compared kay Camille.
And that should actually give WVSU some pause, right? Because what are their win conditions now? To hold out and let Joe and Telo scale up. But the thing is, HAU's not letting them farm. Kinukuha nila yung jungle, lagi nilang kiniklear yung waves. Pag nandun yung waves enough para makatch ng WVSU, they're always there to threaten. Okay, are you gonna farm Joe? Are you gonna farm Telo? We're not gonna let you. And here, they're threatening once again. Nice two-shot barrage to set up this should dissuade Komi from going in. But look at that. Divide and conquer. Top lane, pull 4 members. Bot lane, you have this turret being pushed in, and walang pake si Haru sa Hero's entrance na yun, but he's gonna get taken down. And I think that's a trade that HAU is willing to make. 1 kill for an inhib turret, that is a trade I was willing to make every single time.
Actually, 2 turrets pa nga in expense for 1 life. And ang aking mahiwagang logic whenever I die, ito yung low-key defense reason ko eh. Ang champions bumabalik, ang turrets hindi. So that's okay. Tsaka dalawang... Right? Reasons lang.
Yan yung copium ni Yuko, guys. Champions bumabalik. But yeah, it works. I mean, the logic is sound naman. Where there, lalo na pag inhib turret, inhib turret is gonna be very hard to take back. Kasi that's constantly pressured din sa bot side dito ng WVSU, which means HAU Valiant Esports, Baron is libre. Kasi hindi naman makakalaban yung WVSU. They have to make a desperate play if they want to disrupt this Baron. And HAU Valiant Esports, they'll be ready for that for sure. Kasi looking at that, cool, even get another BF sword on top of the Solar Charge Blade means that this is gonna be a tough cookie to nut to crack here for Leviathans.
And Looks like Valiant Esports, grabe din yung pag-zone out ni Kome dito. You cannot pass, you shall not pass. Even though hindi naman talaga sila nagba-Baron. So it just gives these questions to Leviathans. Are they taking Baron? Are they gonna push mid? It looks like they want to push mid. And Barrage is available. But then again, when it comes to fights, Valiant Esports is really, really ahead. Full trying to go with speed push, pero baka hinahabol siya dito ni Alistar. No more Proto Belt. So wala tayong Proto Belt and headbutt na combo from the support, and Valiant Esports, they want to take the kill. They want to take the fight.
As well, let's see how they're going to respond going into this game as well. Now, no team fights. How Valiant Esports knows that they don't need to go for a big fight. They can just continue to poke WVSU Leviathans. And here, once, like I said, libre ang Baron. Kahit tatlong members, si Kome nga nakikipaglaro pa dito sa red side jungle ni Leviathans. And here, going for the quickness for the alley-oop onto... Oh man, that wasn't just... I thought it was going to be an alley-oop onto Kelvs, but it was actually Shino that picked it up from downtown, even burning the flash for that. Flashy plays coming in from the Xayah. And now, with the Baron buff, this is going to be possibly a nail in the coffin here for WVSU. Can they make their final stand? Can they make the final call here in this game one? They're gonna try and go in. Miracle comes in with a body slam though. It means Kelvin's gonna get some burst damage. Good taunt there coming in from Linevi, but Shino has been dealing a lot of damage. Does get the turret shot a lot on his face, which means WVSU, a lot of members low on HAU here, so WVSU has a chance here to go for a final play, but HAU, they're not letting the Leviathans get it. No chance. HAU just decides, we've taken out the 3 NF towers, let's just get out, take their jungle, regroup, and then win this game by the book.
Yep, and do not overstay their welcome. So while two champions were doing the Baron kanina, I was wondering, bakit hindi lumalapit at hindi nagko-contest agad yung Leviathans? And then I looked at the map, you have Cool sa Dragon Lane, you also have Kelvin dito at the mid lane, and you have Kome at the Baron lane, but not really kasi nasa jungle area siya. So even if Leviathans did try to do something, mayroon na nag-wither down ng turrets nila, and it was just a huge problem for them, which forced them to let this Baron go. They wanted to contest, of course, kaso it was just too late. They could not do anything. But looks like they just need one good Hail Mary play. Na yung masabi ko, miracle maybe for the engage. If possible, try to predict if makakapag-body slam dito si Kelvin. I know
Ayun,
it is a bit of a high pitch kaso mukhang na nauna pa siya dito. Look at the damage he's taking.
Kahit may hero's entrance pa yan, that's just gonna delay the inevitable. Ed might live, but it's gonna be a regroup for HAU Valiant Esports. Dodges the Idol of Durant here, and look at those feathers slicing through. And that's gonna be game one by HAU Valiant Esports. WVSU didn't just need one Hail Mary, they needed 4 miracles there for that to happen. And looks like HAU mounting momentum here in game one of this best of 3. But the WVSU Leviathans, they can switch it up. Yung mga members nila, very, very versatile, can swap around roles. Yeah. I want to see that as a way to try and find something different against HAU.
I'm much looking forward to that kind of surprise sa ating game number 2. And to circle back, sabi mo kanina, you said Leviathans need 4 miracles. Yung Baron lane nila, miracle na yung pangalan. So, 3 miracle na lang yung kailangan nila.
May isa
200 IQ?
Given na yung isa. Oo, pero hindi dumating eh. Hindi dumating.
Sayang.
Sa game 2.
Hopefully, game number 2.
Game 2. Kasi feeling ko naman, competent naman yung engages ng WVSU. It's just that HAU knows when to call it quits. HAU knows not to overcommit. HAU knows na, okay, if we go for this play, mabibigyan ba natin ng chance ang makapunish yung WVSU? They're not giving them that option at all. So, WVSU needs to be the ones that are proactive, right? They need to be the ones to force HAU to make a mistake instead of waiting for HAU to make an overcommitment. Because HAU is usually not gonna be doing those overcommitment mistakes.
Exactly. That's just how clean they were in game number 1. And alam ko na double-edged sword yung Riven in any lineup or any team, but Cool's Riven was really cool. No pun intended. He had a very beautiful early game up until the mid to late game na he's not even in charge of cleanup. Siya talaga yung nag-initiate or he just jumps in the middle of any fight. Tapos I know I say this a lot, but yung protect the ADC na lineup, Saya was really well protected. You have a Rakan to shield and knock up anyone that's near you. Meron kang cast to push anyone that decides to jump in your way. You have a AoE CC with the use of Riven. Tapos meron ka pang Olaf na in the late game, we saw he took so much damage, but okay lang kasi buhay pa rin siya.
Yeah, and I think this is the kind of gameplay that usually from HAU, right? They're all about the theme of the comp, right? For here, Cool and Kelvs are basically grenades, right? They're grenades.
Mhm.
You throw it at WVSU to deal as much damage as possible with the AP Gragas, and then Shino can clean up. But because they got such a huge lead, it's like a
Mhm.
grenade na pagkasabog pwede mo ulit gamitin. Because they
May cooldown.
survive. Oh my, a grenade na may cooldown. So yeah, I guess usually that's the role, right?
Mhm.
That's what the comp is for. Like the Gragas comes in, just blows everything up, and then Shino can clean up. Cool as well fulfilled that role, but because they constantly outmaneuvered WVSU, they got enough of a gold lead that they're tanky enough that after their initial burst all in, they can actually compress the attack and continue forward.
They can, and they did. And now for game number two, I guess, I don't think there's any problem sa lineup ng Leviathan dito. It
Sure,
was just more of them in the early game, right? Kasi
execution,
this
eh.
lineup, it makes sense, and yes, execution nga talaga. You like their draft actually, diba, nung before we hopped into game number one. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the adjustments or the rotations that they will be having. Are they gonna ban Riven out, get Riven for themselves? Are we gonna be seeing a different support, or are we gonna be seeing a new jungler? Because I know there are certain lineups for certain levels of aggression, and I want to see how will they switch it up ng game number two.
Yeah, then yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with how the way they drafted, right? Like even the bands like Fiora being banned, Wukong, Lee Sin, Ziggs, Varus, those are A tier bans here against how Valent Esports, and it's really about that early game execution where Valent Esports, they have the veterancy, um, and WVSU, they're coming in from Division B previous season, so they're a little bit more fresh than the Valiant
Uh-huh.
squad, right? So it's that experience and that veterancy that allows them to outplay them early in the game. I think with Leviathans now being on blue side, they can actually try and switch up their draft here. And actually, we're seeing that from the player roster already. Miracle, of course, still topside. Joe still in the jungle, but now King instead of Linevi on the mid lane, magkaiba yung champion pool sila eh. And instead of Telo, who is one of the star players of WVSU, si Linevi yung pinasok nila sa kanilang marksman role no, not marksman, sa dragon lane role nila. So this is a big gambit by Leviathans. Let's see if Linevi can prove himself in that dragon lane role.
And I actually want to see if will they be able to win that gamble. But looking at the band, TF, tapos
God.
Kennen pa rin, and you have the Fiora. So not much difference sa bands from game number one. Unless biglang iba yung Riven dito. Unless, just wishful thinking. But I would still love to see a Riven in game because I wouldn't say I'm good at Riven, but I just love it when pro players or good players pick her up because they get to maximize the range of this champion.
Oh,
And I
Riven
think I
Band.
jinxed it.
You jinxed
I
it,
jinxed it.
man. You jinxed it. But yeah, this does leave Camille open, Irelia open as well. Ziggs is open as well. I think if Lineve is on the Dragon Lane role, posible ang Ziggs. Pero hindi. Si Irelia ang may pick up nila. Like I said, parang may Holy Trinity or no, it's the Holy Trinity plus one ng fighters dyan sa Baron Lane, right? There's the Fiora, there's the Riven, there's the Camille, and then there's the Irelia. Oh,
And then there's the Senna.
Sen, okay.
Hello?
Tinitis
Giyang? Oh,
tayo.
sorry.
Tatawagan ko na
Sayang.
sana si Giyang. But yeah, the
Ready
fresh
na ako tumawag
priority
sa
here
messenger.
for Valiant
Yeah.
Esports here. This is of course another Kome special. I mean, Kome's champion pool for supports is very wide. Like he plays everything. The one thing that we haven't seen him play is Lulu, and I think they just haven't found the good place to bring out the Lulu here. So the Fizz will be the lock in here, I think. Okay. Okay, the
Six.
Ziggs. Okay, the
Okay.
Ziggs is a lot less surprising. The Fizz would have
Kasi it was like,
surprised
oh
me.
no, is he
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
pick up Fizz?
But
No, no,
yeah, like I
panic na
said,
panic na ako.
open siya eh. So hindi tinake ng
Mm.
Leviathans. So kinuha agad ng ng HAU dito sa red side 1-2 punch nila. Veigar. Uh okay lang. Pero mas gusto ko yung action dito ni ano eh, ni siguro kay King 'to mapupunta, kay King.
Makes a lot more sense. Yeah, wala akong tiwala sa ADC action, so might as well put him at the mid. And
O baka
imagine him against a Ziggs. I mean, he
actually,
has
Lineup
quite
plays the action. Lineup plays the action sa mid lane. So pwede rin siya sa marksman dito.
Oh, okay. Let's see, let's see.
Oh,
Tapos bilang ADC action nga, no, no.
oo.
I jinx it again. But yeah, Renekton will be picked up Dragon Lane. So magiging mid lane Irelia unless we see an ADC Irelia. No, please don't try this at home. Don't do that ever again. Please. I saw that one time nung nag-rank game ako. Please don't. I
Oh
have
my
no
god.
idea why I experienced that. It was so horrible, man. But yeah, for the side naman ng Valiant Esports dito, lock in on Garen. You have sufficient silence and you have someone that can hold your lane sa Baron.
Yeah, definitely. And this could depending on the matchup, right? Because with the Garen showing up, there then becomes a way of mind gaming the draft. Of are you okay? We're gonna send the Irelia mid and the Renekton on the Baron lane side. So will Valent Esports say, okay, they're gonna go that route. So let's send the Garen over to Baron lane side to face the Renekton and have a different mid laner. So either way, Garen has a pretty decent matchup against both of these fighters, no? So there's actually I like the Garen pickup here. Yung kulang na lang dito is more initiation. Kasi that's usually weakness ng comps with Garen is nahihirapan sila maghanap ng ibang source of initiation.
We will usually see, we will actually see a initiator jungle. Could be J4, I think. Yeah,
Yun.
right on cue. That will be a
Ah,
hover lock in na yan because I did not see any other initiator jungler na pwedeng kunin for their side. So may pang lock in ka na, meron ka pang silence. That's the basketball combo.
oo.
Cataclysm, tapos yung Mega Inferno Bomb.
Oo, parang ano yan, ball is life yan. Manggagaling dito sa Ziggs
All is
natin
life, right?
dito. And yeah, and that's been the combo that we've been seeing, right? Like constantly. And I mean today, when we see a J4 and the Ziggs, the combo is so potent na it changes the team fight. Like kahit mag-dive pa kunwari, mag-dive dito sa yung isa kay like King or Miracle, dive in with either the Irelia or the Renekton. If you can get two members, okay, one kill with the Mega Inferno Bomb, tas half health yung isa, that's like the what we've been usually seeing. Okay na yun eh. If let's say one kill, but I guess the AcadArena changes things up here.
Jungle Irelia.
No? So it's gonna be
Jungle Irelia.
it's very interesting, and
Please.
of course,
Yes.
yes, mukhang yan yung makikita natin dito from Leviathans, and that's what I like about them. They can adapt, they can adjust. Their players are very flexible, and like I said, this is the strength that WVSU has over Valiant, because Valiant, I think, has it better in every other way, like mechanics, experience, and macro play. Leviathans needs to leverage yung surprise factor and yung flexibility factor, adaptability factor ng players nila.
And we see that in game number 2 aside from the small row swaps sa mga sub na we saw from game number 1 ngayon and Irelia Jungle. So it's not something we see but ang pinaka green light, green flag ko sa isang Irelia Jungle is she's much more mobile compared to a J4. She has better chances of snowballing and with her stun, mas makakapag-help siya sa other lanes. Imagine her helping out sa
Yes.
Baron or sa mid lane, good layering of CC, good opening for King, and I just hope na makakapag-snowball si Ariel dito because if she is not able to get 1 or 2 kills, maybe even 3 in the early game, she will just be a squeaky champion na pwedeng pasabugin ni Ziggs dito.
But I'm liking it. I'm actually, with the addition of Jace, this Jace can actually just, depending on how he plays the lane, can just skip yung problema kay Renekton na he's gonna slice and dice into you and bully you. Kasi he can, even though the slice and dice threat is still there, he can still potentially get out of it with acceleration gate and then trade back heavily with shock blast into going to hammer form. And the hammer form might actually prevent the Renekton from getting any further auto attacks or even a ruthless predator or Kaldamik. So I like this. I like this so far. But here comes okay. So it's gonna be the romance mid lane here with AcadArena versus Garen. I like it. I like it.
Kala ko ilalagay sa Baron si Gary, but yeah, I forgot there's a Jace. Initially, pagkalabas dito ng champion to, people said walang damage si Jay sa early game. I beg to differ. Up against someone that is melee, he can actually just really snowball. And for Leviathan's Dragon Lane duo, I think it will be quite a passive lane aside from the use of poke. Kasi you just need to give Akshan some time to snowball. And looking at the mid lane, King sinasalo lahat ng silence dito.
Talaga?
But here comes Joe for the
Oh, flawless duet for the stun. Forces the flash as well, but the parry misses. And that is going to be good. Because King was really feeling yung pressure nung ano eh. Nung Garen, because he can't go for CS. Kasi the minions come in faster than the bouncing blade. Actually, the bouncing dagger coming in, but Joe gonna try for another stun here, flash into the group of Predator. Can Joe get the flawless duet here? No, misses it, and Cool keeps his cool right there and is able to escape with his life. Actually, still very, very healthy, didn't need to use the flash. So it could end up as a 2v2 here, depending on how Haru approaches this. But they might just be contesting the Rift Scuttler here. But it's going to be a nice flawless duet here. In comes Hammer Time here. Not enough to trade it back, but it will be revenge killed by this J4. This ends up as a 1-for-1. First blood goes to WVSU. Or rather to WVSU. But in the end, it's very, very even.
Very, very close indeed. And this is what I said kanina. Joe in the early game will go over to the mid and the Baron to get some kills para makapag-snowball siya. But Valiant Esports, they saw through that. Sabi nila, okay, if nakita na siya kanina sa mid lane, most likely he will be rotating up sa ating Baron, and they were able to prep for the exit ni Joe. Play some few wards there right after, and looking at Joe, mukhang gusto niya pang kumuha ng Mortis. Pero baka scatter na lang.
Okay, that's not going to be hook, line, and sinker for the death sentence on Ed, but the fight will begin as Cataclysm gets going. Joe comes in for the blade dance, but flashes over means that Shino's going to be a little bit safer. The battle lines have been redrawn here, and Kel being the very nice front line. Good double bubble here, but Kome still looking for a death sentence here. Lineve flashes over to prevent himself from being knocked up by the flank and drag. And that's going to be no kills taken, pero may pinaglabanan sila eh. Sino nakakuha doon ng Rift Scuttler? Tignan nga natin. And it's going to be HAU. So all that for a Rift Scuttler.
I think it's worth it.
Worth
Pero
naman.
pang dragon dance yung nila,
Oo,
yung
yung
laban
galaw.
nila kay Napotes another fight. Mukhang may stunts. I actually like how Miracle is able to land all those stunts. It stops Jace from actually trying to even jump in sa lane or even go with the pressure. But jumping back sa ating mid lane, mukhang si King sinasayawan din dito si Kelvin. Not literally, just in game.
Ballroom
Katarina with, nagbo-ballroom dancing. Katarina with all those daggers.
But for now, the next big fight has to be near this Drake, right? Right now, there's not really anything worth risking for. You could argue for a gap to make an opening in the lane, but Death Sentence comes in. It's going to be a 3v2 here. Bubble's not going to connect. Lineve comes in with the dashing rogue there. Has to get out though. Kome, can he get the last kill? He had to execute one bullet off coming in from Lineve's ulti. So that's not going to come through. Recall, and I think he's going to be coming back to this lane just in time for the break.
At the very least, it could try to take out this Ziggs. Good ebb and flow. Pero hindi pa enough with the damage. At the very least, it forces Ziggs to jump back right on time na nag-up na ang ating Infernal Dragon. Apparently, we're seeing a lot of Infernal Drakes in the series. So, more damage, more push power to which team will be able to get their hands on it. Joe is now taking some CS sa ating mid lane. A ward has been placed by Kome dito sa likod ng Dragon Pit as well as sa side sa entrance ng ating mid lane just to see if ever Leviathans will try to go with the contest or try to surprise them.
Good poke there coming in from Cool, but I don't think HAU is in a position to trade Infernal for Herald because Leviathan's got the initiative. Of course, Infernal's very squishy, so they could go for it. But this is going to give WVSU a couple of seconds that they can try to catch up. But with the damage they sustained here from the shock blasts, it seems like it will just be a handshake here to trade the neutral objective. So HAU investing later into the game here with the Infernal Drake. Meanwhile, WVSU, let's see what they can do with this Reptile. Shino giving a lot of damage here. Nice satchel charge there to escape. And in comes the Mega Inferno Bomb. Kelps tries to finish off. That's going to be the Vanguard's edge here. But nice Lantern, but it's not going to be enough as the exhaust will stop Joe in his tracks, but not before getting 2 kills for 0. Leviathan's very, very nice response there. 2 kills on Joe is also very, very crucial.
That was a good box from Gome, but the mobility from Leviathans was just too much. They allowed Joe to get that double kill, and we have a 3-1 Irelia at the 5-minute mark. This is everything na gusto ng Leviathans. They just need to hold out a bit more. They got the Rift Herald. They can get that first turret for their side. Kaso mukhang naunahan na pala sila dito ng Valiant Esports. They already get the first blood turret.
Which is fine. They can now play around Joe's power spike here. Of course, my Bork Nancy Joe, which means he's reached the Irelia power spike of getting lifesteal and then basically becoming unkillable unless you CC lock her. In which case, HAU Valiant Esports needs to do double duty in tracking down Joe, because right now he is the threat, right? Linevi on that action, yes, you can say, okay, he's with a Black Cleaver, but usually Joe will be the star of the show here. Otherwise, Leviathans can also use Joe as the battering ram here to get into house to set up the kills for Linevi, but that's risking a shutdown gold here. But Miracle then try and go onto Cool here. That's going to be the Lantern. Medyo malayo, but the death sentence will allow Cool to get away. Bubble not gonna come through. Cool now in range for more shock blast to finish off the kill on the Crocodile, and the turret will keep them safe as 2 kills being taken by HAU. And who's gonna be next to get hooked? Line and Sinker not gonna miss. It goes wide, but 2 kills for 1 on the other side of the map here means that I think HAU is feeling a little better about the earlier 2 kills by Joe, because they did get the shutdown.
Yep, nakahinga na sila. They were able to get those 2 kills,
Oh,
and now they
heroic
want
swing.
to go the kill further.
Gets
Here we go.
exhausted though. Can they go for a return kill? Sayang, napakalapit na dun, and I don't think the minion wave is gonna let a acceleration gate shock blast pick up the kill here unless Haro comes in with a hero play. Wala naman siyang ulti dito, so it doesn't seem like that's gonna be happening here. It looks like Joe was able to get a kill here along with Miracle onto Kelvs. So that is actually going to be a very good momentum here onto this mid lane. They got the Rift Herald earlier. They're gonna try and pivot and go for mid lane turret, open up the map for themselves. No Cataclysm just yet. But this is gonna be flag and drag, not gonna be hitting though. Play to stop the blade dance here. Joe tanking a lot of damage with that PR there, but it is going to be a lot of damage coming through from Miracle on that Renekton comeuppance. Not gonna come through just yet. You do get a kill onto Haru, but in the end, it's going to be 1-4-1.
Nervag dito si Aurelia, but looks like King still looking for that assassination target. HAU, they're trying their best to hold on, but I have to say, kung kanina sa game number 1, Valiant Esports ang nakapag-snowball ngayon, it's Leviathans. They get all the kills, they get all the things they need, and even this Akshat is having a very good time forcing Thresh to take a step back at mag-recall silang dalawa alongside his teammate.
And how Valiant Esports has been doing a decent job at respecting the Irelia of Joe here. So they're not going for full commits. If you look at who has been dying, it's like 1 or 2 people. They're not letting HAU get more than 2 kills in a fight. Because when that happens, that's when the dam breaks. That's when the floodgates are open and WVSU can start the deluge of damage coming in from Joe. Because all the time you're dealing with Joe like this, all the time you're gonna have to deal with Joe, King and Linevi are doing their feat. So here comes the tidal wave here, but the dunk coming in from the Cataclysm. Miracle still alive though and spinning around. They do get the execute onto Joe. That is crucial. Haru taking a lot though. Come up onto Shino. Is Kelvin gonna be able to block it here? Buwang si Kome yung inalay nila doon.
Yep.
Pero buwang walang execute naman, but King, like an assassin, like a ninja, looking for an in here. Hook line and sync onto Linevi, but King comes in. Death Blossom, not gonna be able to hit too much there. Haru is a little bit too tanky for her tastes, and that is good. But still, WVSU is in a lot of trouble here. Nice bubble, no hook coming in from Kome. But I think with the way they're beat up, they're gonna have to give this turret unless King wants to go in for those resets. Medyo delicado. Haru trying to bait him here. They do get the bait, but they can't catch the fish, as it does seem like HAU is just delaying their own backs. And once again, Cool, naghahanap pa rin siya dito. Mega Inferno Bomb for the alley-oop, but in comes Cool. The heal from Ed is able to let King live for another day with a good bubble to stop it. Dumating na ulit si Miracle. Napakahaba ng laban na to, pero it looks like HAU succeeds in defending the turret for now.
Sa sobrang haba ng fight but not really na yon, namatay si Joe, nabuhay siya, and he actually got the Rift Herald. So baka ako, okay, HAU, hello, but yeah, good call from Leviathans, and Dimashan Justice
They're
just
gonna try and
has
go for
to
it.
get the
Blaze
kill
Joe
on
back.
Joe, pero naku po, ayun
That's
naman.
the Cataclysm immediate kill there. Nice Nice decisiveness coming in for the Kobe.
It was a very good cataclysm. No other way out si Joe dito. And looks like Valiant Esports, they'll be able to get their hands on this Mountain Jake. More shields, more sustain, para mas tumagal sa mga skirmish or at least mga small pickoffs that they will be getting. So ngayon, balik tayo sa ating game. We are at the 10, almost 11-minute mark. And it seems like King is doing just fine with his blade. Nagiging sharp naman na. And I'm still waiting for that very good Mega Inferno bomb being thrown out by Shino. But so far, Leviathans, with the changes they did, mas comfortable na sila ngayon.
Look at this right here. Nice tidal wave, but the Mega Inferno Bomb is gonna keep this action from getting away. Vanguard's edge here onto Haru will mean that he's gonna have a hard time getting away here, but meanwhile Shino dealing a lot of damage. Haru able to live with a sliver of HP with the help of Kome here, and with the bombs, now HAU is the one on the run here. Cool. He has the Shock Blast ready, so if they can build up a wave here, they can actually use the Shock Blast to try and get some damage onto the turret here, try and poke them out. They have the Zig. Nice flawless duet there. It is gonna let HAU stop HAU a little bit from pushing onto the second tier, and Joe gets to farm a little bit for himself. Naghahanap talaga siya dito.
I know. Sisilipin pa ata.
Yeah, hammer time onto Joe here, and he walked into the wrong neighborhood. Sinapak na ng martilyo, hinuk pa ng Thresh, and that's gonna be Knock Kelvin trying to get away there. Nice lantern, and that should be the end of that fight.
Yep, and imagine your support is on a killing spree. What's good? 3, 2, and 4 on Kome, and we are 8 to 9 sa ating scoreboard. Gold lead 1-2K in favor of HAU, and when we look at the third takedowns, even Steven sila. Ang difference lang is, Valiant Esports, they got 2 dragons in their pockets, and it looks like they want more, but they want the kills first. At the very least, they're able to force Miracle to jump or at least take a step before sila mag-reset.
And this is pretty much just resetting the waves to even Steven, like I said. But since they're the ones with the relative control over the top side, they should be able to shove this Baron lane wave to pressure once next break comes up. It is going to be the Baron showing up, but I'm actually HAU is not in a position to try and contest the to start the Baron. Meanwhile, WVSU, they have a board. They can definitely try and take that if they have the space. But for now, HAU knows that, so they're pressuring bot side. They know that Not Kelvin can probably fight it out with his Black Cleaver against King. So for now, they know where they're weakest, so they know where to strike here against WVSU.
That sentence, okay, that was a bit too close for comfort, but at the very least, it just shook Joe down to his toes. Kaya ngayon, Valiant Esports, Jay's already hurt, by the way. I saw the damage from Cool. Isang skill lang already given out G's at the Renekton, but now the ultimate from action will be popped. Thresh will be able to tank that. Main hook na isa, but there will not be any follow-up. But look at the huge chunk of wave sa ating Baron. Lahat yan na-shove in ni Cool further.
Agad. Naramdaman agad dito ni Cool na, okay, yun na yung limit ko. I-shove ko lang yung wave. Yung cannon minions na yung bahala dun sa turret. Hindi ko na kailangan magpunta dun kasi mag-gank lang ako. So he backs off, and HAU, they're slowly choking up WVSU here. Here, WVSU is actually the one being pressured by HAU right now despite the gold being even. Hindi nakapag-pull snowball dito si Joe at si King. So they have to play a little bit more conservative here and respect the damage that HAU has. With the Mortal Reminder on Cool, that means they can't rely as much on Ed healing them while they're being poked here. For example, if they're trying to get a turret, if they're trying to get Baron or the next Drake. The Mortal Reminder will definitely remind them that they are mortal because the healing reduction is big on Miracle and Ed. And Joe as well.
I like that wordplay. I'm gonna use that from now on. But ayan, yung 1v1 naging 2v1 and it just pushed King to place it safely under turret. Of course, you have silence. Meron din Cataclysm. You will not take your chances. One of the weakness from AcadArena is, aside from CCing her down, is pinning her down. Rabadons has been picked up by King just now with the Ocean Jake and the Baron up. Mukhang iba ang priority ng dalawang teams natin.
Yeah, again, this is gonna be Joe trying to get out there. That's going to be a very nice tidal wave to give Joe some space. Pool taking a lot of damage as well. Gustong-gusto ni Miracle makakuha doon, but all the while, the J4 Haru was picking up the Ocean Drake. So now they can actually go for a 5v4 after Pool gets a little bit of regen here. Trying to go for the Cataclysm to try and catch some fish. Spear fishing is the name of the game here for Haru, but it doesn't seem like they will catch anything. In the end, they got what they wanted. They got the Drake. They can back off and prepare for Baron because WVSU will want to make some space for themselves to get that objective.
You have 2 flashes down, 1 barrier and 1 heal gone for Leviathans. You have 2 ultimates and 1 flash down. Pero mukhang sinubukan pa rin mag-initiate dito ni Haru.
Ba't gumugusto si Haru doon? Delikado yun na.
So close, man.
But for now, HAU is giving WVSU some breathing. Right now, WVSU can kind of get their bearings, get some vision out on their side of the jungle, maybe get some protective wards here around the Baron side so they know when HAU is going to pull the trigger there. Let's say HAU tries to bait WVSU on that side. WVSU will know not to engage. And HAU here, they just need to clear the waves right now. They just need to leverage their ability to quickly clear waves on the side lanes and then respond mid lane.
Kala ko, mag-Baron, sneaky Baron dito. Yung HAU, but they just placed a ward, rotated or shifted all the way to the mid lane, and mukhang they are trying to possibly get the kill, kaso naunasan ng Leviathans dito, and that will be the Wit's End being picked up by Joe just now, I believe. So now, two things. You play objectively or you look for kills. Mukhang gagawin ng Leviathans dito. They're gonna go for the hunt first maybe, but constantly si Not Kelvin is just camping sa ating Dragon Lane, making sure na the waves are consistently pushing in their favor, and para ma-steer away na din si King sa mga group or full-on 4v4 team fights.
But like the Wit's End, of course, as standard. Like Joe gonna try and come in, gets the Vanguard's edge though, but in comes the cavalry. Haru comes down with a sickness, with a cataclysm, picking him out. And once again, the Wit's End, yes, that's standard third item in kay Irelia, diba? But against,
yes.
But that's okay. Never mind. Might be the fight here starting as Kelvin wants to go in. The rest of HAU still just backing off for now. They need to wait for 5 members. But once again, Wit's End maybe standard, but I'd rather like Death's Dance here in this comp. But here is gonna be Miracle taking a lot of damage. Dominus might save him, but it's gonna be executed by the Justice, the Judgment. And in comes Linevi, stuck between a rock and a hard place. He tries a heroic swing, but it's not gonna happen as he gets taken down. That's 3 kills for Valiant Esports for 0. Now they can go for a Baron without any repercussions from the WVSU Leviathans.
Main damage dealer, jungle, and the Baron laner down. Free Baron most likely for Valiant Esports unless may magagawa dito si King. But looks like he'll zone out pa rin ang last 2 members at the very least. He can get 1 or 2 kills. So much damage. Here's another
here.
2.
They're actually putting members here onto the AcadArena, so that's basically a 1-for-1 without the AcadArena. Actually, baka sumama pa dito si Ed with the Mega Inferno Bomb. Papasok dito si Joe to try and get some backplay dance back in, but another execute there from the Judgment, from Judgment there coming in. That is gonna be enough from HAU Valiant Esports. March their way with 30 seconds on the death timer. Si Miracle just Linevi lang natira. This could actually be the game here for HAU. This has to be the last stand here for Miracle and Linevi. Now is the time to go rogue Linevi, but they're just gonna go for the Nexus, and HAU Valiant Esports not giving the Leviathans a chance to rise from the depths. It's gonna be the HAU Valiant Esports, like archangels, rising above the heavens, getting into the grand finals. Oh my lord, what a clean game there from HAU. They didn't let the Irelia and AcadArena snowball. They played to their win conditions, and that was a beautiful, beautiful game.
A beautiful game and beautiful series indeed. So again, for game number 2, Leviathans, they did have the early game and their rotations really improved a lot. Kaso ang nangyari for, I guess, the mid-game, it was just Valiant Esports getting their power spike. Yung dynamite fishing dito ni Ziggs on point, as well as the explosive minefield for the slows and setups. And napansin ko din, J4, hindi siya takot mag-cataclysm. He would pop the ultimate whenever it is available. Does not care kung isa, dalawa, or 5 yung makukuha niya. What matters is they get that kill. So from team fight to pick-offs, Valiant Esports, they really were able to balance their skills, pati yung mga malulupit na Dimash and Justice dito. Again, Justice has been served, even though Joe was able to snowball. At the end, napipick off na lang siya without an Irelia, without that single target stun, it will not be enough.
Feeling ko wrong mistake yung ginawa ni King dun. Yung tinry niya mag-trade kay Kome. So nadamay pa dun si Ed. Nadamay rin si Joe. I feel like they should have just dropped it. Out of all the mistakes to make, that was the wrong one to make, right? The mistake to make was like probably just to back off, because even though that's not really giving them any favors, it at least allows them to go for a last stand 5v5 in the Nexus instead of getting picked off 1x1, 2x2, and then the Nexus just gets destroyed. So that's one of our finalists locked in for our UAC Season 3 Wild Rift. HAU Valent Esports, once again, very good opportunity to once again get the repeat of their championship run. Meanwhile, our next semifinals match is going to be PUP Pylon Cerberus Ultimate, an up-and-coming team with a very solid, versatile, and aggressive roster versus TUP Gearhawks, who has shown themselves against all expectations that they can swing it with the big leagues. So I think for now, breathe a little bit. All you HAU fans out there, I know you've been cheering for this. All you PUP fans, all you TUP fans are getting hyped up, but we're going to get into a very, very short break. But before that, we'll be thanking our sponsors, Globe Telecom, Logitech G, and Twitch. Student, we have been your shoutcasters for this first game, this best of three, sorry. I'm Hiron. With me was Yuko. Don't go away and stay tuned.
Manong Fishball ang tawag sa kanya. Everyday siya kung dumating. Kaya parang institusyon na siya dito sa area namin. Minsan, sobrang late na. Andun pa rin si Manong Fishball.
Ginagabi kayo, Manong!
Enrollment eh.
After some time, yung kariton ni Manong Fishball nadagdagan ng may bike.
Hanggang kabilang kalye, nagtitinda na rin kayo, Manong?
Ang notebook.
Sunod na taon, pati menu nadagdagan.
Nax, may squid balls na!
Mahal kasi ang lapis. May kikyaw pa dyan.
Bilib na bilib ako kay Manong Fishball. Akalain mong yung maliit niyang kariton, napalaki niya ng ganun? Ang nagagawa nga naman ng pangarap ng isang magulang.
Manong, anong grade na ba yung anak nyo?
Tagal nang tapos sa mga bata. Ako naman ngayon.
Manong Fishball ang tawag sa kanya. Pero sa mga araw na yun, many years ago, higit pa sa fishballs ang binigay niya sa akin. He taught me na walang di natutupad na pangarap sa taong handang magsumikap.
Dami niya na.
Panghapunan.
Pantoga.
Atin ang pangarap. Atin ang pagsisikap. Atin ang mundo.